Hey everybody, good morning. This is Chad with Canine Revolution Dog Training. Got little Wayne out here. He's a Puggle in one of our training areas. And you'll see in the center of the area I'll be working at today is a small pet cot. And for Wayne, we're going to be reinforcing what we call a spot or a place position. So what you just saw is at this point in training, Wayne has the foundational pieces for the spot, so we're going to finalize it starting with this session. But what you saw was him being directed to the spot with the leash. He was a little bit apprehensive about it. Then he went to the spot, did a downstay, got rewarded for it. Now I'm recalling him off the spot and luring him to a heel position. So I'm going to be doing some obedience sequencing here, but you see me using the leash to guide him onto the spot. I give him an opportunity to lay down on his own. Then once he lays down, I'm going to tell him good, and then I'm going to recall him off the spot and then into a heel position. I'm using the leash to reinforce it here, and I'm going to reward him randomly with food out of my bait bag for completing the obedience sequence. So here I'm just going to be heeling with him around a little bit in the training area before I have him spot again, because heeling he's more familiar with, which can keep him in a good mindset before we send him back to the spot, okay? So I'm just walking back and forth, I'm backing up, having him move over to my left side, and I'm using the leash right now to guide him onto that spot, reinforce a good spot. And then I'm going to ask him to down when he gets onto it, say good, reward him for getting onto the spot. Give him a second to do that. Then I'm going to do a recall off of the spot. Notice how he did not recall properly, so I'm going to reset him back onto the spot, recall him, use food to bring him to proper recall terminal behavior, which is a sit in front of me, reward him for that, then have him go back to the spot. Okay, so we're going to be doing repetitions of this during the session to help reinforce the behavior. Remember, as we build behavior, we're going to have to do hundreds of repetitions of the behavior to make it a nice solid behavioral habit for the dog. All right, so I sent him back to spot. I've got the leash in my hand. I've also got his remote collar in my hand. I'm just going to be moving around, and let's see here. He's doing pretty good, staying on the spot. He got up for a second, lays down. I recall him to me, right? I'm going to use the leash to try and reinforce the terminal recall behavior, and then food to reward him after he completes it. So up to that point, I was using a food lure, but at this point, I'm trying to get away from the food lure, use the leash to reinforce the position, then reward him with the food after that. Okay, doing some more healing. I'm going to send him to the spot. He did a great job getting on the spot that time, but he's not laying down. So I'm going to say no, give him a little correction there. Once he lays down, say good, and then I'm going to recall him again using the food lure to get that nice terminal recall position, which is the sit in front of me. Then I'm going to send him back to the spot. Okay, notice he struggled there for a second, so I'm just using the leash to reinforce good spot behavior. All right, once he's on the spot, I want him to do a downstay and kind of hang out. He's showing me good eye contact as I move around. I'm going to recall him to me using that leash to help him perform a proper terminal recall behavior. All right, and I'm going to reward him after that. Okay, so I'm having him chase me with the food reward that time to make it a little bit more exciting for him. I'm going to put him back into a heel using the leash to reinforce proper heel behavior, and just kind of heel around for a second, nice loose leash, before I redirect him back onto the spot. So again, just reinforcing that spot behavior is my number one goal in this session. I'm going to throw in some other obedience as a secondary performance during this session. All right, so now I drop the leash. I'm going to have him stay on the cot for a second as I move around. So up to this point, he's been used to me holding onto the leash, but this time I'm going to let go of it. And then he gets off the spot, struggles to get back on. So I'm going to grab the leash, use it to reinforce him back to the spot behavior, and then kind of move around again. All right, so I'm resuming what I was doing before, having him maintain a stay on the spot. He sits up, I'm going to say no, give him a little correction with the remote. He lays back down, and now I'm recalling him while he's able to drag the leash to reinforce that proper terminal recall behavior. All right, hope you guys have a good one. Let us know in the comments what questions you have. See you in the next one.